Not sure what's going to happen there. That is interesting as an update, though.
Do you think he'll come? I don't think he'll be back on Dance with the Stars. Well, I mean, I guess they do kind of cycle. No, not really. The popular ones kind of stay on. He was on for a really long time. I wonder why they didn't pick up his contract again, though.
Maybe some people want to also step away and they're like, I want to try something else.
Like Anna Delvey.
Tried it. She was eliminated.
It's the Pop Report. So juicy.
Hola, chica.
Hello.
Bienvenidos.
What is Spanish that you're getting into lately?
What if we just did a whole episode in Spanish?
Good luck with that.
Good luck. You don't know half the shit I'd be saying.
I know.
What's it like?
I did take Spanish in high school.
How much?
2 years. Got to C both times.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Listen, high school just wasn't. School was never really my thing.
School was my thing, but then when college happened, I was like, fuck it. I did my dues.
Well, because it's like you can get a D and still like succeed in life. So I didn't give a shit about getting A's. Like,
you want other D's?
Listen, tell me anybody that's on the fucking honor roll or that was on the honor roll that's like exceptional right now, right? Because of the honor roll. Like, it doesn't matter. Yeah, but shut up. You were on the honor roll? You would be on the honor roll.
I was valedictorian.
Oh, God, Andy.
I had a mission to prove to some hoes. Anyway, how are you?
Did you prove it?
I did.
Okay, good for you.
Then college, I was like, we out. Like, nothing happened here.
Okay.
What's new with you?
I just got back from the dentist.
Punctured and pierced.
Yeah, I got so cleaned. They cleaned out my teeth and they're like, wow, your teeth look amazing. Your Invisalign journey is going great. I have to get a tooth extracted in November, but outside of that, everything's amazing.
We've had a busy week,
I've
girl.
never had a cavity.
I'm glad that news went for you well, because if you came in the studio and said, I have cavities, my mouth hurts, I have lockjaw, like,
I don't have lockjaw.
No,
that's because I don't suck dick.
No, yeah, that's different. We've had quite the busy week, though. We went to...
Where did we go?
So our interview with Mary was stellar.
Yep.
I had a very lovely time. If you haven't checked out the interview, check it out. Mary talks about potentially leaving Selling Sunset, her thoughts on Christine Quinn, and even Chrishell coming to Traders. So it was a very, very riveting interview. We have more coming up. And then we also went to Mary's book launch. We went to Madame Tussauds rooftop, and we had a freaking day in Hollywood. Like, these bags under my eyes, they come and go. This week they are present. Like, I am tired.
Yeah.
Like, we drank a little. You drank a little.
I drank a lot.
Yeah.
I drank a lot.
But we have more important things to cover than just us drinking and talking about books. So we have a lot of news to get to today.
Shall we dive into everything that's hot in the headlines?
Yeah, what's hot, girl?
So, well, this was a story that's been hot that we've been covering for a while, and that was Artem and Nikki. Nikki Bella, Nikki Garcia, whatever she wants to call herself these days. She has filed for divorce, which we discussed on the show, but now it's come out that Artem, who was arrested for domestic violence a few weeks ago, he's now had the charges dropped, and he is saying, he posted on his Instagram saying that he's very thankful for this and that the truth will prevail. And his rep has come out saying that he was not the aggressor in this incident, and they're happy that the charges have been dropped.
I feel like we've heard this quote before of, the truth will prevail.
Yeah.
But, like, what is the truth? Like, why didn't we just get a statement? Are we not allowed to legally talk? That's what I always wonder sometimes. Like, what is prohibiting us from someone saying, here's what actually happened?
I don't know. I mean,
right.
The interesting thing is the 911 call. He's the one that called 911, and he was claiming that she was throwing her shoes at him. So I'm thinking that because his attorney is saying he was not the aggressor, I'm assuming that their claim and probably how they got this dropped is they're claiming it was a self-defense. Whatever happened was in self-defense because she was the one that was throwing things at him.
This is a very Taylor Mormon Wives, like, juxtaposition here.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, interesting. So just to also clear the air on this, no, he was not dropped from Dancing with the Stars because of this. Again, every time this comes up, I feel like we need to set it straight. Zack said it straight from the beginning. But still, people get it wrong. Not sure what's going to happen there. That is interesting as an update, though.
Do you think he'll come? I don't think he'll be back on Dance with the Stars. Well, I mean, I guess they do kind of cycle. No, not really. The popular ones kind of stay on. He was on for a really long time. I wonder why they didn't pick up his contract again, though.
You know, maybe some people want to also step away and they're like, I want to try something else.
Like Anna Delvey.
Tried it. She was eliminated.
Gained nothing from the experience.
We sat down at that rooftop at Madame Tussauds looking at that Zendaya wax figure, and I go, ooh, Anna Delvey, eliminated. Everyone at the table. I was watching. I'm like, were you really watching? Were you really watching?
I was more sad that Tori Spelling got eliminated in the same night.
She had such a riveting, nice dedication to her kids, saying, thank you, you can do anything. Then there's Anna Delvey. What did you take away from this? Nothing. Two different, very different polarizing responses.
You can tell Tori was like irritated with her too when she's saying that. Like, why is this chick even here?
And then one of the judges actually came out and said that was so insensitive to say for like how much of an opportunity this was, and that people showed up for her and she, you know, was given. So interesting. A lot of things around Dancing with the Stars.
Carrie Ananaba.
But the way you announced it.
That's how they say it on the show. They're like,
you do
Dancing the Cha-Cha, Phaedra Parks,
Anna Delvey,
Carrie Ananaba, Lynn Goodman.
You know what? Are you secretly the voiceover?
Maybe. No, I think Anna Delvey, like this was her opportunity to introduce us.
Reinventing Anna.
Reinventing Anna. No, to reintroduce herself to the public in a way that I thought like would have given her some sort of redemption, right? Like this could have been her redemption arc. She didn't take that. She continued to lean into character. I mean, she's never been somebody with a great character altogether, but this could have been a good opportunity for her to, you know, introduce something. It got a lot of people talking. It got people watching Dancing with the Stars. I don't know how many more people are going to watch without Tori and without Anna, because I don't think we're going to be talking about it very much because everybody else in the cast is boring. But you know, good for Artem.
Ezra Sosa, her dance partner for Anna Delvey on Dancing with the Stars, came out and said, I got to learn so much about Anna, and like he personally thought in interviews saying she shut off when the cameras turned on a little bit, like that personality he saw with her. So he got a different side with her than what the public experienced.
Yeah, I think it's because she knew, like, and the public wasn't very graceful or welcoming or accepting of her, so I understand her hesitation, but I don't know, it came across as if she didn't care, and she didn't really want to do this, and her team kind of made her do this, and, I mean, she tried it.
Girl tried. That's all we give her.
Put her on the next season of The Traitors.
Ooh, I'd love to see that.
Mm-hmm. I don't think she'd be a good traitor. She would be terrible at the game. But she'd be so bad. She'd be like a charade and just make it all the way to the end by default.
Girl.
All right. Should we get into some music mayhem? What's going on?
Yeah. I feel like a lot has transpired in the music scene in the last week. Obviously, we have Charlie and Troy are on tour for Sweats.
Yes.
They've definitely been having a lot of people show up for that. But a lot of people are also looking at the new Katy Perry album that has just released. We talked about it previously, how her and Nelly Furtado's album came out.
But did you listen to both?
I did. I listened to both, and they're both an interesting arrangement. But on Metacritic, this is the worst rated album for Katy Perry, and I think don't quote me, even though we're here, a woman songstress's album. I think it rated like a 32 on Metacritic, which is a new record low for Katy Perry. But in this, my personal take, this is a album written for Kim Petras because it has very synth like and heavy dance beats that do very much strike the tune of Kim Petras's music. And so it just feels like Kim was removed from the vocals and Katy's are on it.
Yeah.
So a lot of people are saying, even Rolling Stone, people are coming out saying the reviews like this is Katy's out of touch, like 143 is 143 years old. Like it's out of tune, it's out of touch. And so some of these reviews are honestly, I think, worse than what the album actually is. Yeah. There's some standouts that are like, this is fun, but as a cohesive whole, it isn't giving as much depth. But she said originally, this is not supposed to be a deep album. This is a fun album. But she's also addressing a bunch of other things lately.
Yeah.
She's done a bunch of different concerts, like she did Rock in Rio. She's done a lot of press for this album. She said people should really be thanking Madonna because she paved the way for a lot of female musicians. But now it seems like she's talking about Dr. Luke in a different way that we haven't heard before.
Yeah, I think Dr. Luke is the reason this album flopped.
It's true. And I think
people
the
didn't
lead
want.
marketing single.
Here's the reality. Everyone can, try to critique it from their, lack of cultured lens. It wasn't meant to be a deep album. I think the album's fine, right? I think it's better than Smile, or it's better than, what was the other one that she did? Prism.
And there's Witness.
Witness was bad, and Smile was bad. Those are the two I didn't really care for. But this one, I thought it was fine. I think there are some songs on there that aren't that bad. I haven't listened all the way through. I keep trying, but I keep getting distracted. So I don't think it's going to be her best album. I think we've already seen her best work. She has that very throwback 2010s sort of vibe that I think she's always going to have. But I think people didn't want to like it because of her association with Dr. Luke, which I'm glad she's finally addressing now.
And it seems that now she is addressing it based on this is her contractual obligation she's given now.
Yeah.
Now that the album is officially out, I think it's like she is fulfilled everything that she has needed to in this contract with Dr. Luke.
Yeah, she said, I was contractually obligated by my label to work with Dr. Luke on at least 3 albums. The decision was out of my control, and failure to comply would have led to legal consequences.
Where did she say this at?
So that was reported by Pop Drug, but then it looks like the original interview came from Teen Pop Musical.
Where are these places coming from?
I don't know, but that quote, the full quote is, since I started my career, I've had a 4-album contract with the Dr. Luke label. Since 2016, my team has been trying to cancel the contract. However, we were unsuccessful. In all the interviews I went to, they took charge of removing all of my opinion about this topic. I tried to talk it out and got silenced. Until now, I don't have control of my social media. Once I release this album, the contract is over. This industry is very hard. For some reason, I tried to write everything in wonder. People thought it was for my daughter, yet it's a song to me to let me know that no matter how strong the storm is, the sun always comes out at the end of the day. There's a lot of changes coming in my career, and I'm ready for what's coming.
Do you think we will get a memoir from Katy Perry about her music and more now that she is able to address what has been going on with Dr. Luke in her music, and now that she is in a different stage?
Maybe. But I mean, again, I don't think there's much more she can say than what she just said of like, I was contractually obligated to, and like my hands were tied, which is kind of like what the assumption was, and that's kind of the reality of this industry is it's like sometimes you are stuck I'm in the middle of a contract dispute right now that's like a pain in my side, but it's like, and a lot of times you can't say anything or you can't discuss it, but it is what it is. Hopefully she can, I don't think she's going to come up with any new groundbreaking music. I think her best albums are definitely behind her, but I don't know what we're going to see from Katy Perry next. I thought Idol was kind of her best.
We're not going to see another woman's world, I'll tell you that much.
It's a woman's world, and you're lucky to be living in it.
And aside from that,
yeah,
we are talking about Halsey in our music news.
Oh, what's going on with Halsey?
Halsey just revealed that she actually was hospitalized because she suffered a very, very, very scary seizure. So she, of course, has come out and made a lot of headlines of her songs and more, her album. But on Wednesday, the Without Me singer, she, and also uses they pronouns, shared a video on Instagram where she was just in a hospital bed. And everyone's like, what is going on? So she was with her fiance, who is from Victorious. Those who know, the girls who get it.
I don't. I've never seen Victorious.
Okay, well, you can leave. Anyway, so she said that she was home from the hospital when she posted this, and everyone's like, what happened? And she responded saying, I had a seizure, very scary, don't recommend it. She told a separate fan who asked if her health troubles were related to chronic health issues. And, she's as of late talked about her health, and she had an album about her health. But in June, she revealed she had lupus. And so she's had a lot of ups and downs from it. And she's been in remission, and she will likely have it for the duration of her life. That's what she said. But yeah, she said she almost lost her life from the illness and so everyone, when they see her in the hospital, they're like, what's going on? And celebrities like Selena Gomez have talked about lupus and like what happens to their body. But a lot of people are definitely looking out for Halsey, being like, okay, girl, like, we love you. We want the best for you. Like, you kind of sent everyone to a scary little turn for a second. So sad news, but it's good to see she's in recovery, and she's going to be in remission. This is going to be her life now.
Well, love to Halsey.
Love to Halsey. Other things that have been coming up. Have you been watching a lot of TV lately?
I've been trying to, but I know you've been watching the Menendez Brothers on Netflix. Or you started it. Have you finished it?
I haven't finished. I was trying to finish that and The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives at the same time, and they're very different.
Very different.
To do at the same time. But yeah, like I was at home and like watching Menendez Brothers, and I was like, interesting. And I'm like, back to The Secret Lives. I was talking to you about it downtown about the Menendez Brothers, and people are up in arms that Kim Kardashian just went with one of the cast members to visit the brothers in prison.
Yeah.
And so Kim has been a big advocate of prison reform, and their case is now being looked at. But the whole Menendez brother documentary or adaptation, not documentary, it's thrown me into a whirlwind, girl.
Why?
Have you seen any of it?
No, I mean, I've seen that there's like chatter online because people aren't happy with like Ryan Murphy's adaptation of their story. And I mean, a lot of people have been talking about it, that it's made me want to watch it, but I haven't watched it yet. I was going to try to watch it yesterday, and then I started watching the Ellen special and I fell asleep.
Well, I won't get into too many details to not give any spoilers. And we can
because we don't know what happened to the Menendez brothers.
I mean, if you know what happened, you obviously will watch and you will question some of these.
Spoiler, they're in prison.
Spoiler. But it details obviously like the theories of what could have happened, and like it goes beyond the camera lens of the personalities of what the lawyers were like and what the brothers were like and how they spent their money. And so people, mostly Eric, is upset of how Lyle is portrayed, of this over the top personified like character.
Yeah.
And so people are going back and forth and being like, Ryan Murphy, you need to do justice and like really pay diligence, because now we're undoing the tales of time of what we've worked so hard about this case and trying to to repeal it and the decision. And it just makes this hard picture that has been painted.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of discussed this the other day. Like, one thing about Ryan Murphy is all of he doesn't always... he doesn't do biopics, right? And a biopic is like very true to the like objective reporting of what happened. Whereas I've seen his response, again, I haven't seen the show, but I've seen his responses to it. Some people had some issues with, I guess, some of the creative liberties he took in some of the storylines that he decided to cover. And he said, listen, my approach to it was to tackle the different theories and to show the story through different lenses. That way we kind of show, like I think people were upset about like an incest storyline that was presented in the show. And he's like, that was one of the theories that was presented, and it wouldn't be fair to show one of the theories without showing, all the different theories that were kind of presented throughout this case. Yeah. And so I don't think he always, I mean, look at his show. He has American Horror Story, like even, Scream Queens, like all of these shows are always very hyperbolized. They're always very exaggerated. It does get a little dicey when you're covering real stories.
Real people.
But the reality is that I think most people don't understand is even when something is based on true events, there are very few of those true events that need to be present in order for the story to be told. Yeah. So there are often a lot of creative, liberties that are taken with a lot of these projects that people don't realize.
Yeah, and people weren't happy about Dahmer. Like the other project he worked on. But I think as a viewer, if you want to be presented like the theories of like the situation, I just wish there were a lot of like, what you see of potential flashbacks or flash forwards of like, what if this played out and you're back to reality. I wish that could would kind of happen for some of these to be like, whoa, like,
Well, then watch a documentary.
yeah, I love watching a documentary.
This is a fictionalized version on Netflix. And I think one thing that Ryan Murphy always does with all of his projects is he pushes the line. And his intention is always to get people to, I don't know if expand their consciousness is the right word, but like, to challenge what they think about a topic.
Obviously, if you are passionate about this and so much more, you should subscribe. This is the time to call it out. But you let us know also in the reviews what shows that we should watch and also give our opinion on if you ever would like.
Yes.
But aside from that, Ryan Murphy also has Grotesque with Travis Kelce. And he has said lately that Travis Kelce's acting skills, he could be a big star. He could do very well if he really works on it. So people are very interested to see this new show. Also, there was an ABC show I went to a premiere of for Ryan Murphy that was called Dr. Odyssey, and it didn't have as much, like, I'd say, elements of like twists and like obviously it's Ryan Murphy, so you have very LGBTQ-esque themes. At least in the first episode was not for Dr. Odyssey. So interesting to see how per streaming platform an ABC like Fox versus a Hulu, which is still under the same family, to a Netflix. Like all these overall deals are all cinematically portrayed different.
Yeah.
But he is still a powerhouse. Him, Greg Berlanti, a ton of these different people who have these big deals.
Yeah.
They'll produce a ton of stuff.
Are you going to watch Grotesque?
I think I will. Okay, hear me out. I'm a girl who loved American Horror Story Coven. I think that's when we saw the peak of like the American Horror Story franchise. Bring that back. Bring back Scream Queens like that.
Please
like,
bring back Scream Queens.
I
don't think they could ever bring that back. I think the cast, like Glenn Powell and Emma, like all that cast, we can never have again.
Emma Roberts, she joked about it. If she would, what she'd be like in this day and age, like her character, she'd be like same.
I would love a Scream Queens reboot. Yeah, put Taylor Lautner back on Scream Queens and take him off his fucking podcast.
Words were said. Now you talked about the Ellen special.
Sadly.
Okay, so I've seen some reports.
Oh, what have the reports said?
You paint me the picture first.
I really liked her last special. What was it? Relatable. I thought that was really funny. It was the first time she'd come back into doing stand-up again, and I enjoyed it. The For Your Consideration, which is the newest one that dropped this week, I cannot say I loved it. I didn't think it was very funny. I didn't think it was very creative.
Oh, you watched it?
Yeah. Well, I tried to. I fell asleep. I had a little bit of wine and fell asleep because it wasn't keeping me engaged. And I also did not like how she addressed her cancellation.
That is what people are very upset about, is looking at the reviews.
Yeah.
People are saying that she still doesn't get it of what happened.
So she basically addresses it by saying, or the argument that she tries to make is that she was just an assertive woman.
And she was not the boss. She said, I am not the best boss, but she's like, there were other people who were the boss, and she's like, I'm here for a fun environment.
Yes, but my issue with those two things about not being the boss is, one, whether you're the boss or not, you're still a representation of the brand because it's your name and your face.
And her name is on the show.
And two, people weren't complaining about her being a boss. People were complaining about the way she treated people. That was the critique. And no, it's not that she was just an assertive woman who, was standing her ground, because we've had plenty of those women in Hollywood that I think have had challenging reputations. However, with Ellen, the stories that came out about her were like, she was very rude and like almost to a point where like she was dehumanizing. There were stories of her throwing food at people and like just these outlandish things that you wouldn't think would be true, but then you hear, these stories were around for years, from when she was on her sitcom before the talk show, that like she just has never been somebody that's pleasant to be around. And yes, that's not to say that like celebrities don't have bad days, or they don't have times where maybe they try to protect their their personal space or their energy or whatever. Obviously, doing a daily talk show takes a lot out of you, that like sometimes you are going to be a little more secluded. But it wasn't just about her being distant or cold. It was about how she would just treat people, speak to people, berate people, throw things at people. Like it was, and so to me, I'm like, no, you don't get to go on stage and make it seem like, oh, you were just a strong woman, because there are plenty of strong women that can go out there and say that, but it's disrespectful to them when you're trying to put yourself in that category, because that's not what you were. You were just a terrible person.
Yeah. I remember there were a bunch of situations that came out about Ellen DeGeneres where she would park in a certain spot in the lot, and someone had parked in her spot, and she had tried to get them fired, if I remember that correctly. So outside of these like working inside the studio behaviors, people even said interactions like at the gate, outside, that it was just not a pleasant experience.
Yeah, she was just not pleasant to be around. And listen, I know that this is probably not popular, but I wanted to go into this special wanting her to win me over again.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, I think, likes a comeback. Everybody likes somebody, kind of having their moment of retribution, but like there needs to come contrition. There needs to come remorse, where you need to kind of understand that what you did wasn't right, and like you want to take accountability for that, and then go from there. And I also think this special was a little too soon after the cancellation. Like I think we needed a little more time away from Ellen.
Yeah.
To miss her a bit. I don't think anybody was necessarily missing her.
Did you?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, moving on.
So I wouldn't recommend. I mean, give it a watch. I wouldn't recommend it though.
General news. Other things we need to know about. There have been a lot about the Diddy parties. I won't go too deep, but there's a new documentary that's supposed to come out about the Diddy scandal. And so a lot of people who have been to parties have made statements about these parties. People like Ashton Kutcher have said, like, if you're single, it is a really fun time to be at Diddy's parties. Khloe Kardashian, in an episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, talked about going to a Diddy party, and her friend started to give details, and Khloe said, stop talking. There are a lot of celebrities who've been inked to it, and so many people are waiting to see what is going to happen next in this Diddy update. But it seems like every week there is another piece and someone else tied to it. And people like Justin Bieber who are saying like the industry and the people are a lot. And he wants to protect people like Billie Eilish. But for him being young versus these other celebrities who are very of age and single and whatever happened. But Khloe specifically in one of her statements said half the people there were pretty butt naked. Like at these parties.
Yeah, I mean, it's no different from like a Playboy Mansion party though, right? And I think what happens at these parties, and we've seen it right now from the Playboy parties, these big parties oftentimes are these big PR stunts. I mean, listen, who are the people there? Sarah Jessica Parker was photographed there. I mean, yes, I saw Khloe, Ashton Kutcher, who's very questionable, especially with his relation to like Danny Masterson. But like, I think people are taking every single person that has, like, I saw like LeBron, like anybody that's ever taken a photo with Diddy. Everybody's now trying to associate. Well, Ellen's a little different too. I don't trust that bitch. But like, there are some people that I think, yes, we can question. But then I don't love that every article is now coming out with a photo from the 90s, from the 2000s, from 20. Every celebrity that's ever taken a photo with Diddy is now being dragged into this. And so what I think happens at these parties, which was very similar to the Playboy parties, and it wasn't until the Playmates and Holly Madison and Crystal Hefner started coming out and talking about this, is yes, there's the main party, right, where the girls are half naked, their tits out, everyone's probably doing whatever whatever substances they want to imbibe in, but then there's like the private party, right? Whereas in Hef's room, he would collect the girls at the party and then they would go up to his bedroom, and that was like the sacred behind closed doors. Sometimes people would go up into those rooms with Hef, and that's where all the dark stuff happened. That doesn't mean that everybody at the party necessarily knew what was going on, but I think what happens at a lot of these parties is people don't want to know. They're going to turn the other cheek. They're going to mind their business. They're going to have their fun, and they don't want to know what's going on in the dark room because it keeps their hands clean, which it doesn't, And if you're going to these parties and you're participating in this, you need to know the environment that you're around. And I think Diddy probably had his little dungeon area that he would do his stuff in. That's conjecture and speculation. I don't have any evidence of that, but I think there's the private part for the private ultra VIP crew that would do what they were doing, that he obviously now we know has tapes on. But I don't think every celebrity that attended a Diddy party is necessarily associated or complicit in what Diddy was doing. I think a lot of times they go to be in association to Diddy and they turn the other cheek because they didn't want to know what was happening behind closed doors.
Yeah. I think you kind of ate clean with that plate. Like, you just took everything out of my mouth. And other news, I saw you put something in here about Tia and Tamera.
Oh, yeah. This makes me kind of sad.
What happened? Because I
Apparently,
saw some things about this.
apparently they've had some sort of falling out where they're no longer close or talking anymore. Obviously, Tia's going through her divorce, and she says that she's been having a really tough time, and she just wishes that this were an opportunity where she could reach out to her sister, but they're just not in that place right now.
Yeah.
She said, "I feel I feel as like we've grown up. We all start our own families, and their children need to lean on them. And so she's like, we're just living our own lives at this point."
Yeah. Dang.
Which is sad because they were like Tia and Tamera, the brand.
Tia Tamera. I know.
Sister.
Well, at least we haven't
Sister.
seen any feuds, public feuds, fights, unlike what we are seeing with Cardi and Offset.
Oh God.
What?
They're messy.
That's your opinion. As you scolded me the other day, like, don't. My teacher said not to say my personal opinion because it's coming from your mouth.
True.
What happened in this Instagram live stream?
So Cardi B was on Instagram Live and she was going off on.
And she does regular lives. And when you go live, and if you do a podcast, as Zack and I say, shit gonna happen. If you're sitting for 45 minutes, it gonna happen.
Yes. And so she was live ranting about Offset. And then apparently he commented on it because she was basically talking about how, like, and listen, in the past, she's done interviews where she said that, like, he's her best friend and, you know, you always need a relationship with your best friend, whatever. Now they're in a really not best friend place, right?
Nope.
They're in a very toxic friend place, and they're not on good standing. So he went and commented, and I believe his comment was insinuating that she may have screwed somebody else while she was pregnant. And then she went and tweeted something right after that about, like, I did. So
I want that reality show.
that's what I want. So everyone's kind of like, what are they talking? Like, is this real? Did she really sleep with somebody else? And then some people are like, well, he was sleeping with I don't know how many other people, so that if she did decide to take one for the team, good for her.
The things that the useless knowledge we know up here that does not apply until we sit down in these chairs sometimes. I don't know, girl. Like, obviously they've been together on again, off again, on again, off again. And I want the best for both of them. Again, like, I think everyone's the best for everything. Cardi had welcomed her child. The two of them had celebrated that, but it is at that level of fame and money and, like, trying to talk about staying together for support of a child. It's like they do have both resources to make that happen.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they don't, but it seems like this is very hard for them. It's going to get to a point too where we might see Cardi say, like, I can't do this anymore. You're out completely.
Peace, done. Well, you know who is having a better time
Who?
outside of Cardi B and Offset? Lana Del Rey.
What's she doing?
She just got married
Wait, to the dad?
to the alligator tour guide, Jeremy Dufresne.
That girl literally posted online, my dad going out with Lana Del Rey. Why aren't you going to tell me this, dad? That's the dad?
I don't know. She just got her marriage license
Good for her, girl. I mean,
to this alligator tour guide.
good for her.
Interesting.
Lana Del Rey, whatever you're doing, I hope you're happy. Like, that's all I say. You've come a long way, girl. Like, I feel like the Michelle Obama meme, raising the bar for all of us.
Are there any other celebs with any exciting marriages or breakups?
I did see that Jeremy Allen White was kissing his co-star from The Bear on the day of Rosalia's birthday. And this is how the public is finding out that him and Rosalia are no longer together, I guess. But he kissed his co-star Molly from the series.
Which one's Molly? His sister?
I don't remember. It's been a minute. Claire. Thank you, Studio Jack.
That is the sister, right?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Who is she?
girlfriend.
Oh, his girl. Oh,
His
okay. He can kiss
girlfriend.
her. She's cute.
Well, I'm sure Rosalia is having a great birthday.
Well, I mean, if they're broken up.
Who knows? I don't know. Like,
Oh,
maybe,
you think he was just casually kissing Claire to celebrate Rosalina's birthday?
what I'm saying is, when the media loves to do in this situation is spin something that didn't necessarily happen. So the media will probably say this relationship was going on while Rosalia and him were seeing each other, and she got like saying you're too close, or maybe she feels blindsided from this now that like you guys were together shooting and you've always been this close maybe, and now you're enacting on it. I don't like when this happens, but that's where it's going to go.
Well, goodbye to her.
Rosalia Moto Mommy, I love you. That's all I'm saying. So
He's saying goodbye.
I am saying goodbye on this episode because we've covered a lot. And
do you know who else we said goodbye to?
Who?
Hoda Kotb.
Oh.
Did you actually care about watching her on the Today Show?
Okay, so I toured Virginia Tech for a college, and they touted that she was an alumni. She is an alumni, but I was like, I don't want to go Virginia Tech just for Hoda. Like,
yeah.
But I think her and Jenna have done so much. I don't know what's going to happen to those Instagram accounts that say Hoda and Jenna.
Well, they used to be Kathy and Hoda.
I loved Kathy and Hoda.
I loved Kathy and Hoda. Jenna's kind of boring.
I don't think that it's that. I think Jenna and Hoda as a pairing, I think not that it didn't mesh as well, but it didn't have the same impact.
They didn't have the same chemistry.
I think whoever's going to be seating in with Jenna, it should probably take its time and probably find that right match. But people were blindsided from her leaving, and I think she was really sweet, and she was really like mom material, on air. So it is sad to see her go. She's like an NBC legacy now.
Yeah, unlike Ellen. Who do you want to see with Jenna?
I'd love to see Kathy Griffin.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. I think they could be a fun duo. Like, I need some more spice brought back to NBC on Today's Show.
Yeah.
Kathy Griffin, if you're out there, would you consider doing an interview on the Pop Report and also going to NBC to be on Today's Show? Because I think they deserve you.
Okay, there you go.
Putting it out there in the world.
Power of manifestation.
I'd love to see your personality on screen. But that is our episode of the Pop Report.
All right.
Well, obviously, if you haven't subscribed, we want you to, and we'll see you around for more juicy stuff coming up.
Subscribe, like, comment, and do all the things. Keep up with us and catch our interview with Mary Bonet from Selling Sunset. It's out now. Give it some love and show us some love with a review on Apple. We'll give you a shout out next week.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Well, that concludes this episode of the Pop Report.
And you should probably hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next episode.
If you didn't at this point, I don't know what the hell you're doing. But if you want to
You're
keep
wasting
up
time.
you know that's true. If you want to keep up with more, obviously follow us along, find more on our playlists, and listen wherever. Leave a review. Do the damn thing.
All the things, all the engagement. We love you, so show us some love.
We don't.